we're all going to end up there anyway, for sure. Um, I do believe that we should have our sights set on Eretz Yisrael, 100%. At the same time, I also believe that there are sparks that are still scattered around the world, and I think some people have a mission to go and elevate those sparks.
What is home? Yes, we have our homeland Israel, and yes, we have homes throughout the diaspora. But our current reality is complex. Israel's at war, and anti-Semitism is rising around the world. So what does that mean for us? What does that mean for this question of home? Join me, Izzy, as I speak with Israeli and diaspora Jewry to better understand this new complex reality and unpack where we put ourselves in this physical and spiritual war. This is the My Israel Narrative podcast. Everyone, so today we are sitting here with Akiva and Chava, aka House of Lev, to follow them on their amazing Instagram page and YouTube page, and they're just an amazing duo that really has been authentically sharing their journey towards Judaism, and now, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it already, their amazing journey towards making Aliyah, and just really, really excited to have you guys on here and to kind of catch up on what's been happening for you, clearly a lot in the past few months, and just, dive in. So if you guys want to kick it off, introduce yourselves briefly, anything you think we should know, interesting fact, fun fact. Go for it.
Amazing. Well, first, thank you so much for inviting us on to your wonderful platform.
Yes.
And I know you contacted us, a little while back, and we looked through your Instagram feed, saw the cool videos, and just got so inspired. And we knew that making Aliyah was on the horizon. At the time when you reached out, we didn't know it was as close as
No
as it
clue.
as it is now. But we knew it was something that we always wanted to do, so it was perfect timing. But
Awesome.
I'm Akiva, and it's my awesome wife
Yes,
Chava,
I'm Hava.
and we go by the name House of Lev, and we started our I guess social media journey in November 2022, and we originally just kind of started talking about marriage because that's something that we're very passionate about, and we love relationships, we love love, we love family, and we've been through a lot of different things in our marriage. So we said, you know what, how about we start just kind of sharing tips and tricks on what's been working for us, and so that was great because we also realized too, like, the things that we go through in life is not just for us.
Hmm.
The
Right.
things that we go through in life are for other people, and you can never connect the dots looking forward, only backwards. And so as you're going, as we went through a lot of different things, you're like, man, why am I going through this? But then 4, 5, 6, 7 years ahead,
You're like, that's why.
exactly, you meet somebody like, wow, you're the reason
Mm-hmm.
why we struggled, all these years. So that was the inspiration behind the channel. And then at first the channel was called, House of Hearts, which is our last name, Hart.
Oh,
And my
I thought
wife's,
Lev because relationships, and you're talking about that. So that was going to be my guess. But okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hearts.
yeah. So that's our HART is our last name. And so she said, you know what? Um, if we're gonna, oh no, rewind. We talked to a friend, and they were asking if we were if we ever considered uh, sharing our conversion journey. And we were like, maybe not. It'd be cool, but we were hesitant because we didn't know if we would be received well talking about Jewish things, and we weren't Jewish, you know.
Well, it was
Mhm.
always on the radar to actually talk about it, but we were going to wait after converting.
Yeah,
So until, a very lovely couple that is on social media as well too, they had mentioned like, hey, you guys should start talking about your conversion and like what it's like now. Like people want to hear what's going on with that now, because they actually thought we were just already Jewish. So they didn't know we were going through a
Wow.
conversion. And that's where that whole started. We were like, "Oh, okay, they're saying this. Let's do it. Like, let's not wait. Let's get going with it."
Well, then, so she said, okay, let's kind of rethink this name, this House of Heart. And she said, you know what? Rather than this thing be about us, because we don't. If we're going to do it, it shouldn't be about us. So how can we remove ourselves? So she said, let's, instead of saying House of Heart, let's find the Hebrew word for heart and call it House of Lev. And that was the birth of it.
Yep.
It has a good ring. I'll give you that
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
And it
Thank you
works.
very
See, you
much.
started off. It was a channel about relationships and marriage, and like it was all meant to be.
It's all meant to be. Thank God.
Thank you.
piecing its way out. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
God,
Yeah.
he has his ways of just putting everything together, you
Yeah.
know?
Like literally, like it's funny because in our living room we have
Oh,
this
yeah.
picture and it's a house with a heart in it. And I looked at that and I was like, that's what gave me. I was like, okay, I don't want it to be about us, but what is another, what's the Hebrew name for, obviously, for heart? And here's this picture, and I'm like, House of Lev. I'm like, it's been staring at us though for a long time.
Yeah.
We've had this picture frame
For a long time.
for a long time, and then I looked at that and I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So I would love to hear, if you want to take it back, you can go as far as you want, but I guess your first kind of intro to Judaism, and then how and when Israel came into the picture. Because I imagine they were sort of intertwined, but like I imagine also that when you started your conversion process, like it wasn't the first thing in your mind, like, oh, and then we're gonna move to Israel. Like
Right.
there's a lot of people that have been, raised Jewish their lives, and that never crosses their mind. So just curious, like share a little bit of the evolution of those two kind of focal points, I guess.
Sure.
You want to start how we
Yeah.
went to Judaism, and then I'll talk about the other
Okay.
part, like Israel part.
Sure. So, a handful of years. I don't know how many now, because sometimes I say 5, sometimes I say 6, but it's kind of all mush now.
It's at least like 5.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I got a call, and I don't want to call it random, because nothing is random when we're talking about Hashem. Everything is divine providence, Hashgaka, Pratit, So I got a call from a cousin, and he said, "Hey man, listen, I believe that the African Americans that were brought to America via transatlantic slave trade, I believe that they are the real children of Israel." And I said, "Dude, what are you saying, man? What? Never heard anything like that before." And he said, "Yeah, man, let's, And so he took me to some different scriptures that he learned, and I kind of dismissed it, but it stayed with me. And so we kept talking about it. He sent me some videos, and the videos that he sent me were videos I'm sure you've heard, especially I believe you live in New York, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of the Hebrew Israelite movement.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, so they're people. Here's the thing: these different groups, they're all searching for Hashem.
Mm-hmm.
They're all searching and trying to find Hashem. It's just unfortunately sometimes different groups have different ways and of showing that, and they're right. But these particular groups that I was looking at, they were very aggressive, highly anti-Semitic. It was all about race, all about color, and anything outside of the African American or the colored race, it was looked at as something that was evil. And so as I was watching these videos, I said, wow, when it comes to the content that they were sharing, there was something there. It was very Old Testament strong. There was some still New Testament there, but it was a lot of Old Testament. And so the way that I grew up, we didn't really read a lot of Old Testament. It was all New Testament, right? We grew up, for those who don't know, we grew up Christian. And so there were certain things that they were saying that was like really sticking with me. But then the way that it was being projected wasn't. I was very, very turned off, and I said, wow, I don't feel God here.
Mm-hmm.
And so just kind of brushed it under the rug for a bit, and so
We didn't feel good.
yeah. So because I brought it, to my wife, and we started talking about it, and and so we kind of just left it there. We left it there, but it stayed with us.
Mm-hmm.
It was something there. Once we kind of went back up under the rug and pulled it out again and started looking at it, we said, you know what? If this is true, then this means that every single thing that we've learned up until this point has been wrong, has been a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of got scared too, because we're like, wow, nobody in our family thinks like this. And so when it comes to the teachings of the New Testament, the teaching of Christianity, when all those different things, you know what if a lot of these things are true? And so that would change a lot of things in my relationships, my thought process, and so we're like we're scared a little bit, but then it's just like when you find that truth, you can't stay away from it. So I'll condense it a little bit. We kept going and going and going. We kept learning. We kept learning, kept learning, kept learning, and we got our hands on a Jewish Tanakh. We had got rid of our King James Bible, our new the NIV Bibles or whatever, a lot of the Christian Bibles. So we got rid of that, and we got ourselves a Jewish Bible, and it was eye opening. It was eye opening because when you open that up, it reads differently. First of all, you read from right to left, right? It opens up differently,
Secondly, things are out of order than it is from the Christian Bible. So we were like, okay, that's interesting, right? Because we're being taught these, that it's in this order when it's technically it's not. So that was like a red flag right there. So it's like, why were things changed? Why were things like shifted, for as far as with Christianity?
Yeah. And so long story short, we fell in love with the Torah, right? The Torah just really, really got into our hearts. And we started learning about who the Jewish people were, and we fell in love with the people, and what we wanted to be in the place where we felt Hashem, where we wanted to be around the people that knew how to connect to Hashem in the most truest form. And we felt that was the Jewish people. The Jewish people had something special. They had an understanding of spirituality that no other group, no other religious group in the world had. The Jewish people had a certain understanding about the creator of the universe that nobody else had. And that type of wisdom is really, really what awakened something on the inside of us. And we couldn't get enough of it. And then that's why we said, okay, well, we need to we got to figure out how we can kind of join this group of people here.
Well, we also love that there was so many like resources to tie back to like some of the questions that we had, because that was my I wasn't raised Christian, he was. And so I always had like questions within Christianity, but things were never really answered for me. So I always was just questioning certain stuff. So then once we got our hands on a Tanakh and we were able to start reading and learning things, that I was like, okay, we can ask questions here. We can go look it up and then like find answers.
Right.
I was like, this is refreshing. Yeah. So like that alone was like, we're definitely on to something. There's something here. And then obviously learning about like Shabbat and all of the, kashrut laws and all those things, that we were like, we want to go all the way. Yeah. Like, we don't want to be Noahites. Right. We don't want to just be Noahites, right? And keeping the Noahide laws, which is amazing, but we wanted to go all the way and to be able to keep Shabbat. And so that was like that moment. We were like, we looked at each other and we were like, you want to go all the way? And we were like, yes.
This was just one conversation. Like, you want to go all the way, and then you just
like seriously, like it was like seriously, like literally. Well, there's so many little like things in between, but literally like we looked up some people. We looked up Nissan Black, right? And we saw, okay, we're like, who is this Orthodox Black Jewish, like we were like, who is this? And so we were so intrigued just by his story and, learning about him and everything. And we're
Yeah.
like, okay, he converted, because we're not going to lie. We didn't even know about conversion while we were learning about Judaism. We didn't even know that was like a thing.
Right.
Like you could actually convert
Well,
until we actually started, finding people who did and learning about, Nisam's story, that then we had this moment, this reality. We were like, we want to convert too.
This is
Like,
it.
let's go.
I'll say something I really identify with. It was a big thing. So I didn't grow up religious, and a big thing. So it's connected to my Judaism, but not practicing. And the thing that hooked me, or like opened my eyes the most, was constantly being in a room, like if there was like a rabbi or another like religious figure, and seeing them being open to taking any question. And I was like, if he's not afraid of any question, then like this is truth.
Yeah.
He's ready to take all of it, and to admit to also saying, well, actually there's just something greater than me that I can't answer.
Yeah.
And I never experienced that in any form of academia and any other kind of religious setting. So it just took me just when I heard you say that, I was like, yeah, I get you.
That was it.
That was it for
big
us,
thing.
for sure.
In some circles, when it comes to Christianity, this wasn't the case for me, thank God, but there's some circles where if you start asking questions, they're gonna, kick you out. You can't ask questions, right? It's not even really. It's kind of like this underlining thing, kind of within Christianity. Kind of, it's like once you start getting smart, once you start like really going deeper, and you start asking some of these tough questions, then a lot of pastors and leaders within Christianity, a lot of them don't like it. Why? Because you start bringing truth, right? And then there's you can't handle the truth.
Well, truth that they can't answer.
Right.
That was the thing. There's only a box of questions that you can
Right.
all ask, and it's the same exact questions, and it has to stay within this box. And if it goes out of it, you're like looked at.
You're a heretic, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be. I won't comment on the the environment of today, but yeah, it's there's something though in your story, and it's very connected actually this week's parsha. Like we talk about, all right, Yitro, and there's this question like, why did Yitro hear the call? Like there's a lot of other people that heard, a lot of other people that weren't at Har Sinai, and they got word of what was happening, but Yitro in particular, like he took to it. And I heard a great explanation today, and it was basically just saying that like we have to be in a place where we're receptive to like we want to receive, and we want to be open to something new, something different, and to really be listening. So clearly you're people that before you made this decision, before you ever knew this would come into your life, you were people that were open, and you had this receptiveness to you that was like, okay, I want to be my most optimal best self. And like, and I don't know, that's the only way it makes sense to me, that like how else, some people get things, some people don't, some people hear the truth, some people don't. It's right now, right? I think a lot of the reason for problems is people it's too hard to hear, so it's just easier. I don't hear. I just don't hear anything. I'm listening to you, but I'm not listening. You read a page in a book, and you're like, I have no idea what that entire page just said. You read it, but you have no idea what it said.
Exactly.
So it's really not a small thing, and it's amazing to hear. So given, right, we'll say up or down 5 years since kind of all of this, started, your life really started to shift and change. I was watching a little bit of you sharing about making Aliyah, and you said a few times like, we're going home, and that's a pretty wild thing to say. At this point in your journey, it's amazing how connected you feel to Israel, so much so that like you're ready and you feel like that is your home. So I'd love to hear like how that came to be, if it was certain experiences, conversations, just point in your journey when you really started to like connect to this idea of Israel as a home.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with some things. It's funny because we were already talking about, well, let me backtrack a little bit. He went to Israel. I've never been, right? He went to Israel. He used to be a professional dancer in the industry, and he was on a tour, and they happened to stop in Israel. And at the time, he was Christian, so he didn't know what was going on as far as with all like the Jewish things and all of that. But he was like asking, like, "Where's the Christian headquarters?" And like, so he had no clue at the time. But this has always stuck with me because this is what we've heard and still hear is like when you get there to the land, the air is different. And I remember my husband saying those words when he came and got back home. He was like, it's something about the air. So then when I heard that, let's forward now to where we are, and somebody said that, I was like, he wasn't lying. Like there was really something like about the air. And this is a time when we weren't even learning about Judaism when he went. So he's just, I don't know, I feel like that experience that he had, he's like, we got to go back as a family one day. So now fast forwarding to where we are to converting, I mean, Israel has always been on our mind and our hearts since talking about Judaism, and especially going through the conversion process. I would say like the beginning of us going through this conversion, we knew we wanted to go live in Israel.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember, I've been to a lot of places around the world traveling as a dancer, and and Israel was the place that it just stayed with me. It stayed with me just in my mind, spiritually. It left such an imprint on my life. It also left an imprint on me physically as well. I went to I went to Tel Aviv, and I got a tattoo. Right, so
No way.
I got a
He said,
tattoo right here that says Yerushalayim,
Nice.
and but
In
I
Hebrew.
in Hebrew,
yeah,
and he was
Yeah, there you
Christian
go.
at the time. That's
and
the
so
funny
and so
part.
I said, you know what, this place is magical.
Hmm.
I need to be able to take this with me somehow, and so I didn't get Israel, I didn't get Tel Aviv, I got Yerushalayim, because that was the place that like it really really hit me.
But you got it in Tel Aviv, just to clarify.
I got this in Tel Aviv, yes.
You got your Yerushalayim tattooed in Tel Aviv. I'm just pointing that out for
Not
those
not in
listening.
Yerushalayim.
There are tattoo parlors in Yerushalayim, believe it or not. People
Yeah.
don't think, but yeah, up the
Okay,
street from
Oh,
where
that's
I live,
interesting.
there's a few.
okay.
Yeah, I got it in Tel Aviv.
That's awesome.
But anyway, it was so after we got out of the mikveh, there was a it was a crazy magnetic pool. It was just a pool of like we couldn't stop thinking about it. We talked about it in one of our videos. We had this awakening, like we're Jewish now.
Mm-hmm.
We can literally live there. Like we can straight
Be
up
citizens now.
become Israeli citizens
Mm-hmm.
right now. We can make Aliyah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was I don't know, it was so mind blowing to us, and I'm like, we're official. We can go now. So but there was a time though, but before conversion, uh there was a time we said, okay, we're gonna go at some point. Maybe we wait until our kids get a little bit older and get out of school or whatnot. Um, but things changed, a little bit quicker. We started having family conversations, in our home, with our children, and it was like, hey, we feel it. It's time to go. It's time to go. And we
That sealed it. Like
yeah.
we just had to hear it from our older kids because literally, like our plan was going to be from 2 to 4 years from now, and
Oh,
having a conversation with our older kids and them just sharing some things with us, we were like, Hashem, you hear us, like you're listening to our prayers. Like never underestimate the power of prayer, because it's like we literally have to watch something about Israel every single day. Like that's how much it's on our hearts and our minds to get there. It's like we're watching the relaxing walker who's showing Yerushalayim all the time, and Tel Aviv, and you know
All of
the
Israel.
all of Israel, which is so beautiful. And this desire, and we were like, this is happening. Like we're going like sooner than we thought.
Yeah, I think too, a lot of people ask us like, okay, why convert? Why do you want to go through this whole process? It's like 2.5 years for us. And yes, we know how to explain it, right? We understand it, right? To a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
but that's also something that's just like way deep down inside of our souls that we can't really fully explain, and we don't really know how to share it, to be honest with you.
Right.
Like, again, we know how to say a few words or whatever to maybe help, make it make people understand a little bit, right? But
But it's hard to
there
explain.
there's there's a something here that we don't even know how to even bring out. I said all that to say it's the same thing about moving to Israel, making Aliyah,
Yeah.
right? We don't know really what it is. Like, I feel like we're just supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of has to ask themselves if they haven't had that feeling, like, are they being real with themselves? And it's not to put
Mm,
anyone down and say you're a bad person, you're doing something wrong. But I think, first of all, everyone deserves to feel that, to know
mm,
deeply that, like, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and it's
Yeah.
going to change and it's going to evolve with time. But it's something you have to ask for. If you don't pray to God, like, just to ask, just put it out there. Like, I want to know, I want to feel. I listen. The past few years for me, I moved to Israel, but I was like trying to figure things out. What should I be doing? Where should I be going? Like, it was a little bit of a struggle in that respect. And I got to a point, a friend shared with me this woman, she's a mentor in Los Angeles, and she teaches like amazing. And her biggest message she gives over is that we have, like, every person, and she had like a near death experience, which was like obviously very, very challenging. She said in that moment when she was all alone, she just prayed that God should save her so that she can come out of it and just help people fulfill their purpose in this world.
mm.
And she's like, and I will fulfill my purpose in this world. And that became her whole mission. And when you hear her talk, it's with like such veracity. Like, she knows she's doing the right thing. And when
Yeah.
I heard it, it was like, I was in such like a place myself where like I needed that so badly that I just started praying every day. I'm like, I just want to know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And the more and more that I've like really dug down and like asked, I've seen it in small things, but like big picture to like, it changes the way you experience life and your day to day. And to have had that moment, and for you guys have had that moment, especially like for your whole family to kind of, it seems like, have had that together, like it's
It's pretty
incredible.
wild.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. I'm really big on taking some time every single day to talk to Hashem, right? I love the teachings of Rabbi Nachman, and the one of his main teachings is a concept called Hippodadudes, which is
Yeah.
basically secluded prayer, and that's something that I implemented into my life, and it's been life changing. But I said all that to say, over the past, I don't know, maybe over the past year, a handful of months, my prayer has just been, Hashem, bring us closer and closer and closer to Eretz Yisrael. Let today be one step closer to getting to Israel. We want to be there. We don't know when it's going to happen, but let today be one step closer. Help us to bring every single thing together, connect us with the right people. And so, like she said, never underestimate the power of prayer. Rabbi Nachman also teaches that when your desire is strong enough, you can do anything. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
When there's a will, there's a way.
Sure.
The old adage.
Sure.
Definitely.
So, I mean, if we could just like break that down for a minute, right? Like this strong pull desire to move there. But obviously, and I heard you guys speak about a little bit in your video, like people being like, okay, I get you want to move to Israel, but maybe there's a better time, like maybe wait. And then it's interesting because I've also been getting this feedback of like people in Israel. They're like, yeah, well, what are you doing over there? It's time to come. But people here are like, it's not time to, like this is like a little bit of this like yo-yo seesaw.
Yeah.
And I find myself like standing in the middle. And I'm like, I saw a post yesterday, actually. Somebody posted coming from Israel looking for an apartment to come fight the Hasbara war in America.
Mm.
And I read it and I was like, are they crazy? Like,
Wow.
just stay put, like stay.
Yeah.
But then I was like, wait, but he's
Wow.
coming here with a mission. Like, he's
Yeah.
coming here to fight for Am Yisrael, like to bring light. So I keep like, having this tug and pull and trying to piece it out in my head. And it's a lot of what I bring out and talk. So I'm just curious for you guys, like how you've broken that down, that like maybe there was no tension at all. And you were just like, no, it's just where it's supposed to be, war, no war, situation, no situation.
Yeah.
Just curious if there was any of like that kind of dialogue in the past couple of months.
after October 7th, we knew we needed to be there even more. It's the craziest thing to say. I know a lot of people may be listening, be like, "Dude,
Like
you're crazy."
what? Like
And
why?
we've gotten that. We've gotten
Yeah.
that in our DMs and our comments. Be like, "Yo, that don't even make any sense. What are you talking about?"
Family.
Right? Family all
For
day,
sure.
right? But I'm like, man, this is the best time to go. This is the best time to go home. I'm like, when countries are at war, when there's trouble, people are leaving.
Mm-hmm.
People, like let's say there's something going on in a certain place within Europe, right? It's just like war and craziness. People outside of Europe are not trying to get back to that place. They're not trying to get back, right? Like, I don't want to get too political or whatever, but you don't see Palestinians trying to rush to get back to Gaza, right? You don't really see it. It's not really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, the population of Israel grew 3%. The applications within Nefesh B'Nefesh, which is the organization that helps people make Aliyah, applications went up 80%. And the summertime hasn't even hit yet. They're expecting absurd amount of applications to come in. For some reason, when the war happened, people had this awakening and they said, you know what, I need to be back home. I need to be there. And whoever got that call, we were some of the ones that got the call. Obviously not everybody got it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we went to a Nefesh B'Nefesh event and they were saying like, yo, listen, we were a little bit nervous coming over here. And we get that a lot. Like, we got a lot of friends live in Israel and they're like, man, we worry about y'all in the West, because they're saying we don't have anti-Semitism like y'all got it over here in America and Europe, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have it. Like, we know who the enemy, who the enemies are in Israel, right? This is what we're fighting against, right? And then we hear things about the unity and the love within Israel that's been on a whole different level since then. The brotherhood, the family, and like it's so beautiful. And now that we're Jewish, we're like, man, listen, now we're commanded, we're obligated to do mitzvot. So now we can offer up our tefillahs. We can do our mitzvot in the merit of Klal Yisrael, in the merit of those who are still over in Gaza trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now we can really, really contribute spiritually, and how it's even more beautiful, even more powerful, that we can perform mitzvot, we can dive in, we can pray in Eretz Yisrael. It's on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
Performing mitzvot in Eretz Yisrael is on a totally different level, and that's where we're going.
It feels different. You feel motivated in different ways. I would just say, like when people ask, like, come on, isn't it like hard to live there? Isn't this? I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? It's like living life anywhere else,
Mm-hmm.
but like with a nice bow wrapped around. Like everything
Yeah.
has just like a different air to it. Shabbat,
Yeah.
Shabbat here, I kind of know what I'm gonna get. It's beautiful, it's great, but like I know it's coming. There, it's always something different. I don't know. I decided living in Jerusalem in the afternoon. I'm gonna go to the Kotel. Like
Yeah.
whatever it is, you live in Tel Aviv to go walk on that. It's just it is. It's a different world, and
Yeah.
there's something about it. Even though in a time of war, when I like think about Israel right now, I just think of it as this like place of like light and like this like haven, like this like safe
Mm-hmm.
haven,
Yeah.
which is it's so interesting to say, and I
Yeah.
feel like if you
Yeah.
don't, but this
That's
is what it
exact. I
feels like.
think you just said it like exactly. Like that's what we see and that's what we feel. I feel like that's a safe haven. And to some people, they're like, "How are you saying that's a safe haven when there's a war going on?" Which it's like our mind. I don't know. And we know and we've seen. Yes, there's things that happen and go on, obviously, but it's one of the most protected places in the world.
The most protected.
It is the most protected place in the world.
The most.
And I don't know. It's just like we said, it's just this pull, this desire, this knowing that we're supposed to be there. We're supposed to all be there one day anyway. So we're going to just make that
Jumpstart.
step now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
I think.
Listen,
yeah.
listen. All of when we go through the Tanakh, the entire Tanakh is all centered around Eretz Israel, right? It's everything is about the land of Israel. Everything's about the land of Israel. It was the land that was promised to the Jewish people by the Creator of the universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's where you mentioned you mentioned Shabbat is different, right? And I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something funny in a second, but it's like the way that I see it is like here, like in Chutz La'aretz, we do Shabbat, right? We do Shabbat. In Eretz Israel, you experience Shabbat.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
all that.
You experience it, right? Now, what's the funny thing? My family ain't even ever been. What we talking about? Like my wife, like we trying to
Dude, I just want
move.
to clarify. You were the only one of your family that has been there physically.
I'm the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And I had nothing. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know what a Jew was, who a Jew was, what's that wall that why you lean on the wall? You know, what is this? Right? My wife has never been, like we've never gone. But here we are. We're saying we're going. We want to live there.
Without any hesitation, like
No
no
trial
fear,
run.
no like it's just
No. And like there's a very, very strong chance, like 95%, that we're not going to do a pilot trip.
nope,
We're just going.
just going.
It's
That's
crazy.
amazing.
It's crazy.
I
You know
don't
what?
think it's actually that. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, on paper. But
Right.
again, we go back to what you were saying, that you both and your kids, that you feel it so strongly. It's not crazy. A feeling's a feeling. A feeling doesn't have feeling. You can't always say this. Like anytime that I've known it was the right thing to do, if I put it on paper, pros and cons would win.
Sure.
Like the cons would win. But the
All day.
pro is so clear that it just washes out any con. There's no like debate. It's not like a side by side analysis. It just is. Just truth
Yeah.
is. So that's what you feel, and to listen to it is incredible, and it should just continue to come with so much clarity and strength for both of you and for your kids.
Thank you.
Definitely, it's incredible. And I just wanted to say, Chava, you're talking about the feeling of safety that I mentioned, like a safe haven. I think what I'm hearing from you guys, and maybe what I'm trying to describe is it's beyond the physical safety. It's not because we can say, like, look, unfortunately, great tragedies happen in Israel, and we can't ignore that. We can't forget that, and there is still a threat and whatever, but it's something beyond physical safety. It's a knowing that you're in the right place in the right time. And that's safety. That's true. I think truth is equated to safety in a way, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you got the Creator of the universe. It's recorded in our Tanakh. You got the Creator of the universe saying very, very specific things about how He feels about the land of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The God of Israel never sleeps. Like He's always watching over Israel. You know what I mean? Like it's like quotes from Hashem all throughout the Tanakh, right? You just open up Tehillim, and it's just like line after line after line after line after line about how He feels about Israel, how He feels about the land of Israel. I mean, we are called the children of Israel. Right?
we'll just add that in there. No big deal. I'd love to ask you guys two things. Each of you, you can pick which one you want to answer, or you can answer both. But I would love to hear one. Just what do you think needs to be the focus, or should be the focus of Am Yisrael and of the Jewish people? And in addition to that, if you have like a specific message or something, direction for diaspora Jewry, because I think I'm not going to say for certain, but I think in Israel, it's a little clearer what the call to action is in a way, because you're feeling it and breathing it every day. And here, unless you're actively choosing to partake in this, Hasbara war, as we call it, and this social media war and all these other things, so you could be removed. So curious, kind of both those things, like kind of focus of the Jewish people right now, like where should we be putting our energy, and if you have a message for just kind of diaspora Jewry in this moment.
Yeah. So I think our focus needs to be continuing to trust Hashem, trust God in everything that's happening. Always find the good, because it's not like any of this is a surprise to Hashem. Nothing's a
Mm.
surprise. Like, yes, things are very tragic right now, the war and all of that, but we have to remember who's in control of everything at the end of the day, right? And I think to continue, I think throughout all of this, I mean, we've seen the unification among Klal Yisrael, which is so beautiful, which is what we need. But also, I think this is a time for us to connect even more to Hashem, to have that secluded time that he talked about, that he bodadu, right? That prayer, that talking, that relationship. I think we can grow so much more in our relationship, because with relationship, you have a trust.
Mm.
If me and him don't communicate on a daily, where's that trust? Like, if we didn't at the beginning of our relationship, we wouldn't have had that trust within one another. And so that's the same thing with any relationship, a friendship, right? Like, you don't gain this trust until you communicate. So that's why the whole like topic of he bodadu was just really big for us, because I'm like, that makes total sense. Like, how can we have so much trust in Hashem with everything that's going on in the world if we don't talk to him?
Right.
If we don't have that personal time and that relationship, as if he's he should be our best friend, right? The greatest. So I will say that will be definitely a priority, because I think because we have, we take that time to talk to Hashem, which is maybe why we have that desire in this place of there's no fear as far as going to back to the land. There's no fear because we trust him so much that we know we're supposed to be there. We know that we're going to be taken care of. That's another thing. I think people are focusing so much on the how to, or am I going to have this? Can I have this? When it's like,
Mm.
let go, let Hashem, trust, obviously do your things that you need to do. But at the end of the day, how much more is he going to take care of you in the land versus how he takes care of you here? So that will be my feedback. I don't know if you want to add to that or add to
Sure.
that the other part of the question, but
Sure. I ditto everything that she said. I think, prayer, tefillah, is the most.
mhm.
I'm gonna take a message out of my boy Nissim Black's book. He said it's the most Jewish thing that we can do is prayer. That's what Avraham Avinu did.
Mhm.
That's what he did. Right, when you would hear about them, invoking the name of Hashem, that's what they were talking to Hashem. Right? Why did a lot of the men decide to be shepherds? So that they can be in the fields, secluded. After they take care of their
Mm.
sheep, take care of the flock, they're out there talking to Hashem. It's me and you, Hashem. It's me and you, quiet. That's what they knew, right? Rabbi Nachman teaches that a lot of the Psalms were written under his covers. He would go under his covers and he would cry out to Hashem and he would pray. That was his Hibod to do,
Mm.
Mhm.
right? And so I think that's where we need to get to. My wife said it perfectly. Perfectly. We have to spend that time so that we can trust. You can't trust somebody that you don't know.
Mm.
You can't,
Love that.
right? You can't. So I think that's that. I think we need to treat everybody with love.
Mhm.
We need to find the good. Again, she already said it.
Find the good in
We need to
everything.
find the good in everybody and everything.
Mhm.
Well, one of the reasons that the second Beit HaMikdash was destroyed was because of baseless hatred. Right? We didn't care about each other. Right? So one of the things one of the ways that we can fix that, you gotta love each other. We gotta
Mm.
take care of each other. Judge everybody favorably.
Mhm.
Everybody favorably. Listen. It takes. Is it easy? Not. It's not easy. I think a lot of times we are more programmed to judge. Sometimes it's easier to judge, right? You meet somebody, first thing you do is size them up. First thing you do is like, look at his shoes. Look how tall he is. Look how tall she is. Oh, well, her, this person ain't wrapping her hair. This person ain't this. This person got on this kind of zit. This person got on this color kippah. This person ain't got no suit on. This person got a sweater on. You know what I mean? Immediately we size them up. So what we need to do is we need to see everybody with a spark of Hashem.
Mm-hmm.
Every single person is a spark. That's my brother. That's my sister. That's my sister.
Beautiful.
Right? And I think that's going to change a lot. What's the message for those in the diaspora? Here's my thing. My wife said it again. She said, we're all going to end up there anyway, for sure. I do believe that we should have our sights set on Eretz Yisrael, 100%. At the same time, I also believe that there are sparks that are still scattered around the world, and I think some people have a mission to go and elevate those sparks, and I think I think when it's time for them to have that desire to get to Eretz Yisrael, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
But even if they don't know it, right? Those Jews living in the diaspora, even if they don't know it, and you say, "Hey, I feel like I need to stay put," even if you don't know it, what you're doing, you're elevating the sparks.
Mm-hmm.
There's sparks right there in your city, right? There's still some certain things that need to be elevated through your tefillah, right? And I think that needs to be the focus, right? Focus on today. Focus on today with Eretz Yisrael.
I was gonna say yes.
Right? in your like close sight. Right? I think that needs to be the focus. I think everybody needs to be thinking about, I need to get there. Right? But let me focus on elevation right here with Eretz Yisrael in my sight.
Love it. Wow. Just to close things off, I love if you guys could share in a few words, a sentence, just like what home is for you, what home feels like.
I think, looking around in my home, this is the place where I can be my greatest self. Mm-hmm. This is the place where there's nothing but love. There's full transparency. Mm-hmm. There's no judgment. This is where you can let your hair down.
Laugh a lot.
This is where you can laugh a lot. Right? This is the place where this is the most important place for children. Right? It's like it's the home where the children learn how to become. It's the home, right? It's a place of nurturing. It's a place of growth. It's a place of development. It's a place of learning, right? That's home. But we can have, but all of that times 1,000,000 is Eretz Yisrael, because there's no other place. There's no other place where you can be introduced to who you were born to be. Mm-hmm. Eretz Yisrael. That's the only place in the world where you can get the closest to Hashem. Right? Eretz Yisrael. That's the only place. It's no other place can you get that close in proximity in our world. No other place. There's a land where you can go and meet Hashem. That's Israel.
Yeah, one of the best analogies I heard recently, because I feel like people always try and give, we say like a mushal in Hebrew, people always try and give like different angles, and one that like really stuck with me was every country you go to. This was by Rabbi Ken Spiro. He's at a crash course in Jewish history, and he's an amazing author and lecturer. Yeah. So he said it's like every country has a certain outlet, and you need the specific plug that's going to fit in that outlet, so it's going to work at peak efficiency. And that's like the Jewish people. When we go to Israel and we plug in, we work at our peak efficiency. So Hashem should bless you guys, that you should just continue on this amazing journey, and all that you're feeling, the clarity, it should just increase tenfold, and we'll just keep spreading all the good you're spreading. And yeah, keep showing us the light and the way home. God willing.
Wow.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Amen.
so
Yeah.
much. You should have hatzlacha
Yes.
and awaken that fire in the Jewish people. Continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Because you're doing such a good work. Like you're lifting those sparks as well too, and it's amazing just to see that.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of My Israel Narrative. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow along and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Yisrael Chai.